Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. This is a very important video because it highlights what will be happening for you in 2025. And I will say, for each stack, a major theme is a certain something that you have to let go of, and then the other part of that is something that you have to bring in. There's a keyword for all of you for 2025 is release. And I feel like this will be a very powerful and healing year for pretty much all of you. Something that will be different in this is that I am doing as I normally do with the 6 tarot cards for each stack. And I actually have 4 different oracle cards for each stack as well. I have pulled from the Butterfly Oracle Cards for Life Changes deck, the Starcodes Astro deck, the Eternal Crystals Oracle Cards, and the Power Animal Oracle Cards deck. So, I did that, but I will not be inputting the different descriptions from the guidebook in here. I will be reading them out loud, but I won't be putting them on screen on the video for you, so I hope that is okay. It'll just be a lot of transitions if I do that. Of course, I will be using my intuition, not only for the tarot cards, but for the oracle cards. And if you aren't drawn to any of these cards, then that just means that this video is not for you. And there are plenty of other pick a card reading videos I have on my channel if you want to check those out. But here's stack 1A, stack 2B, stack 3C. You can pause if you'd like and if you need some more time to figure out just which stack you are most drawn to. Also, everything that I talk about and say in this video is for entertainment purposes only and is not stated as fact. Alright, let's get into the video. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So if you listened to my intro, I talked about how there's something, at least for every group, that needs to be released, and that it also allows something else to come in, and that there's a lot of release and healing work to be done. But really, for you, group 1A, the keyword really is healing. Even 2 of the oracle cards have healing in their titles. So, first I want to read through what the tarot cards say, and then what the oracle cards say, and then I'll get into it. So we have the 10 of Swords upright, the 8 of Wands in reverse, 2 of Wands in reverse, the Devil in reverse, the 5 of Cups in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles upright, and then the oracle cards are Healing from the Past, Transits, keyword is Climate, Fuchsite, key phrase is Healing, Heart Chakra, and Dragonfly, keyword Illusion, key phrase You Know Who You Really Are. So, I feel that a lot of you who chose this stack feel very alone, feel very sad and very lost. That's like really, as soon as I pulled that first card, I was just getting a sense of that, of feeling very alone and very lost. So, I do want to say here, the 5 of Cups is in reverse, so I wonder if some of you this will not resonate, but some of you maybe have suffered from loss, and a lot of the cards that are represented here represent loss. So I wonder if you have had like a physical loss of a loved one, so a family or a friend or whoever in your life, or a pet. For some of you, that will definitely resonate if you have lost somebody, especially within this year or the last year, where maybe now that they are not around, you feel very alone. Maybe they were like your best friend, or they were your greatest support system. I feel that Spirit also wants to let you know that if that resonates with you, the 8 of Wands is in reverse, and so that's about things going slowly and people taking their time. So if you were in the process of grief, that takes time, but at the same time, Spirit is saying this is a year where you will really be able to work through that and heal those issues. And for some of you, that can include, how do I want to go about this? It's not like I'm getting a big sense of stepping outside of your comfort zone. I think a lot of you really want to feel comforted and safe right now. And while you are healing through, if you are going through any sort of grief or loss of a loved one, this isn't a time for spirit saying you have to put yourself out there too much. They actually don't mind if you don't. They want for you to really focus on feeling safe. And I mean, that can include physical safety, but that includes safety in all senses of the word and all senses of the self, where they want for you to feel that you are at an okay place. I think some of you are really struggling right now or have been struggling recently. And Spirit is saying to just take it slow and that you don't need to do the most right now. You don't forget and don't completely dismiss your feelings. They want you to work through your feelings, but there's a sense that this will really take some time. There may be something happening in 2025 that includes loss. Maybe the loss hasn't happened yet. Again, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I cannot predict, and I don't know exactly who is watching this, so I can't predict if you will lose a loved one. But there's some sense of loss no matter what it is, whether it is an actual person. This can also include if you just lose friends, like you grow apart from people. Maybe some of you will graduate from school and then you move apart from people, or everybody goes off and does their own things. Especially that can be indicated with the 8 of Wands in reverse and the 2 of Wands in reverse too. Maybe you end up moving away or other people move away. There's a sense though of some sort of transition between you or other people in your life that will make you feel more alone. And some of you too, I really have to mention this just because it's here, but we have the 10 of Swords. So I wonder if some of you, when I think of that card, I think of betrayal. I wonder if in 2025 or, recently, you will suffer from or have recently suffered from some sort of betrayal. So somebody that you trust has completely gone against your trust, taken your trust away, and now you maybe feel that you cannot trust anybody. And I feel like this is a sense of something could have happened or will happen where you really feel far removed from a large group of people, if that makes sense. So even if you get into, let's say, an argument with one friend, or maybe you and another friend are no longer friends, if you share a common friend group, then that could affect everybody. Some of you, what you need to do, I talked about this recently in one of my videos, but for some of you who need to have better boundaries and maybe even go no contact with people, especially family, that could cause a big rift and people might not want to talk to you anymore. And that can make you feel just very alone. And maybe like you don't have people that you can rely on and that you can trust. There's a big overarching sense of no matter what change is you're in the process of or will be in the process of for 2025, I want to say that you don't see it coming, but I think many of you actually do. But it will be something that you're not prepared for and that you're not ready for. Changes can happen. Like, let's just go back to a graduation example. Like, you can graduate from college, but that doesn't mean you're ready to graduate from college and go completely into the workforce. Sometimes changes happen, but we're not ready for them. Transitions can happen, but that does not mean we are completely ready for them. And maybe you'll never be ready for certain transitions to happen, but Spirit really is urging you to know that there's at least one major change or transition, I should say, that will be happening for 2025 that they want for you to really focus on. And that transition mainly involves, healing here. So that's why I keep saying, and it's even where it says here, healing from the past. That's also why I feel like for some of you, or for many of you, this has already happened, this thing, but it's more about the process of overcoming that or working through it or healing from it. Again, for some of you, maybe it hasn't happened yet. So if I say like from the past or like in the future or present or whatever, just you all understand what I'm saying, because either way it will apply to you. But so from this thing that you need to heal from, I feel like it's very heavy and very deep. And again, I go back to what Spirit is saying for taking your time. And with the Two of Wands being in reverse, I wonder if this thing that has happened will also cause major setbacks in your life, where you kind of put your life on pause and you want to halt it, even though life is telling you to do the opposite of that and to keep continuing forward and to heal. Even though a lot of you will not be ready for that or wanting or willing to go through that process of healing, a lot of you will want to be in your feels and will I think a lot of you too may have a lot of questions. Even if you know the answers, you'll just be questioning a lot and kind of having that thought of like, why me? And why does this have to happen right now? Or why does it have to happen in this way? And a lot of you would just feel lost, like, what am I even supposed to do next? Or, okay, I'm doing this next thing, but I still feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And I think especially I want to bring up the Ace of Pentacles now, which is an upright position. Because throughout all this, the other cards are kind of feeling very heavy on the chest, but the Ace of Pentacles here is saying you will come out of this okay. Because the Ace of Pentacles is also about new beginnings too. And this is, when I first pulled this card earlier, I was thinking fresh start. Oh, okay, fresh start. So there's this heaviness, but at the end of this heaviness, working through everything, you need to know that there will be a fresh start if you allow yourself to be in that position to start over or to have a fresh start. Which is why I feel like this transition, it can feel so heavy because it can feel like so much. And I really feel like for a lot of you, it can be such a life-changing thing that you are going through for this year. But Spirit is saying that it is important and necessary for you to go through this change. And that even though change is scary, there's this fresh new start. Now for some of you, new starts and freshness and everything, that will be very, very scary, and a lot of you again just will not be ready for it. But Spirit is saying that you will be, at least at some point in 2025, ready to turn over a new leaf or to take this next step to allow change to happen. And that, I think, too, a lot of you will want to hold grudges. But since we have these healing cards here, I don't think Spirit wants you to hold on to these grudges. I think they want for you to recognize that, some things are not your fault. Maybe some things you did are your fault, but either way, you have to forgive. At the same time, it's like, I'm not in your position. I am not saying you have to forgive and just forget and move on. A lot of you will live with this, whatever this is, for your entire life. But I think for many of you, the key word is forgiveness. Because holding the grudges, I feel, will just keep you stuck and it won't allow you to take that next step forward. And to allow for proper healing, when we forgive people, it doesn't mean we condone their actions and that we think it's okay, but we don't give them the power, the energy, or the space of us anymore to hold up any space, any power within our lives anymore. We forgive so that we do not have to hold on, so that it does not take up any more of our lives that it needs to. And for those of you who maybe are in a position or, in a situation where you think you'll never, or you're like, I will never be able to forgive this person. Sometimes people do really awful things. And I completely do not blame people for not forgiving people. But then what Spirit is saying is to get at least in a better place in your life so that it doesn't take up as much of your own personal life, of your energy. Some of you, a big thing is doing cord cutting. So you can look up cord cutting exercises, but it disconnects you from that other person or that situation so that it does not affect you in such a way anymore. And again, I really do want to emphasize this. Some of you will live with this kind of stuff for forever. I think some of you with this spread, it indicates PTSD or even injury that's happened, and that can indicate stuff that's now chronic for you. Like, for example, for me, after I received my concussion after I got my concussion in early 2020, right before everything shut down in the pandemic, that triggered health issues in me, and also I'm very positive it gave me some form of PTSD or CPTSD. I am undiagnosed though. But I do feel there's a lot of injury that I can see in this, and also just PTSD. And Spirit does want you to know that you are valid in seeing these, because that's why they have the healing here. It's like, we understand, we see that you have been suffering and pain. Oh, I actually feel like crying. Oh my gosh. I think a lot of you will resonate with that word of pain. But, okay. But that pain that you feel or have been feeling, Spirit wants you to know that you are valid in feeling that pain. You are so valid. But they want for you to at least try and get to a better place, even if things aren't going to be the same as they once were. We have this Ace of Pentacles here at the end of this, and it's showing that we can at least start over, or we can at least do our best moving forward and live our lives. There's a sense, too, of like not letting things hold you back, of just living your life. Some of you, I think, are scared, or maybe even feel unworthy or unable to just live your life because things are different now, or because you just don't know the next steps to take. And Spirit is saying they're there for you every step of the way to help you along the way. They want to help you. I think some of you maybe are scared to ask for help or don't want to ask for help, but they want for you to so much. Because even with the Five of Cups being reversed, this card is about loneliness, but since it is in reverse, I have to say it's about coming out of this period of loneliness, or of this period of sadness, or of grief. So they want for you to get in this better place, but you have to take the really hard steps forward, and that they really believe in you to be able to do this for yourself. They believe you can do it, and they are there for you, cheering you on. And earlier, I think I brought up, like, you can always reach out for other people for support too, but make sure, of course, I have to mention, if some of you have been backstabbed in any way, or just really let down by people, make sure that, okay, this may sound bad, but I'm not getting a sense of it being a time of making a lot of new friends or anything, or reconnecting with old people. I don't mean like old people isn't actually like elderly, like, but like people from your past. I'm not getting a sense of needing to do that, but I am getting a sense of, if you need like actual professional support, this is a good time to do that right now. But Spirit doesn't want for you to be alone. I think a lot of you have connections in your life already, but maybe you've drifted apart in some way, or you just don't feel comfortable talking to certain people about certain things. Like, you know how there's a saying of, how do I explain this? There's certain people in your life who are there more so for like maybe you just have fun times with them. Maybe you're really good friends with them, but you just like party with them, have fun with them, go out to concerts with them, travel with them. But maybe when it comes to being vulnerable, they aren't very good at being receptive to that. And since I think a lot of you are in more of a fragile state right now, or you could be at some point in 2025, it's really hard, because a lot of this, there is a sense of not being alone anymore, but it's a sense of connecting with people who you already know for a lot of you. But make sure it's people you feel comfortable with. And I bring up that prior example because if somebody, for example, isn't receptive to you being vulnerable, then they aren't the type of people who you should be vulnerable with. But I just feel like a lot of you already have connections that you can talk to, or some sort of support group where people have gone through the same thing. There's a lot of, I feel like a lot of people in your life actually probably don't relate very intensely to what you are going through, so it could be hard for people to understand. So it's really weird, because I'm getting the sense of there's a lot of you who have these people in your life you can talk to, but at the same time, it's like I feel like a lot of people don't understand, and again, that can contribute to people feeling very alone. So that's why professional help could be very helpful. Finding new friends could be helpful, or people who have gone through something similar, but I would keep the group of people small, and don't overshare, and also don't try to connect to too many people at once. I think that could be also very overwhelming for you. But there's a sense right now of slowing down and of really considering the things that have taken place in your life recently, or at the time of when things will happen in 2025. Again, whether I say in the future or in the past or now, like, you know what I'm saying. But there's a sense of slowing down and really understanding and not ignoring. Spirit does not want you to ignore There's, again, that sense of they really want for you to feel everything that is going on. And for a lot of you, acceptance is going to be a really hard thing, whether it's acceptance or forgiveness. And that transition into the next phase of life for you, that is, I feel like, what is the most hard for all of you. I think the grudges are coming up again and just holding on to the past from if any trauma has happened. I just feel there's a lot of holding on and feeling stuck and not wanting to move on. But that transition, you have to have some form of acceptance or forgiveness. That's going to be a really, really key and crucial part in your healing. And that will look different for you than other people who maybe are going through a similar situation from you. Like, let's say let's say you were with a partner and a friend hooked up with your partner. And you're even more upset about the friend doing that. Or the partner, whatever, right? And let's say you have a friend who's gone through something similar, and let's say their outlet was going to a therapist. But let's say your outlet, maybe you feel better maybe you feel a lot of shame, so it's hard for you to see people face to face. So maybe you just go on these different forums online, like Reddit. Reddit doesn't have to be all bad. And you go through these grief forums, or of people going and being cheated on as well, and you can read through these things, and that could be very healing for you. But then not only looking at the external but the internal, how does it make you feel, what can you do moving forward, and how can we get this unstuck from you so that it doesn't have to affect you as much moving forward. I see very deep healing taking place, and I see on a soul evolution level, like a karmic level, this being very important for you moving forward as well. Having this piece of forgiveness and or acceptance will be really crucial in having your soul understand the importance of those things, or of either of those things, acceptance or forgiveness. That's a really big piece that they want me to talk about. But, okay, I'm going to read from what they are saying here in the guidebook. So let's go to Healing from the Past. This card comes to you because there's also, actually, before I read through here, I haven't read through the Oracle card decks yet. I want to pick up on and say what I was seeing and sensing earlier from all these Oracle cards. So, with transits in astrology, those are all about events. You can predict when they're going to happen nowadays with the ephemeris. You can imagine when things are going to happen, when planets are going to align, or conjunct, or sextile, trine, all of these different things, square. You can see when they're going to happen, and transits also, to me, in general, relate to transitions. Transition. Because it's how the planets transition throughout the sky and in the solar system. So this is a really important year for you for transitioning from point A to point B. Even if from point A to point B there are so many detours and so many bumps and rocks that are in the way. And then we have healing from the past, which indicates to me that there's something from the past that is still affecting you that you need to work on. We have healing with the heart chakra, which, again, just healing in general, especially things that we're holding on grudges on, or that we're holding on with our heart, and that we need to release, or that we need to transmute into positive light and energy. And then dragonfly, I love the dragonfly. I have it tattooed on my chest, and it says, you know who you really are. So for those of you who have been deceived in some way by other people, this is indicating that for many of you, you have not been in the wrong, and that, these people who have been deceptive to you in some way are not needing to be in your life anymore, and that you are a good person. You deserve to allow yourself to heal, and you deserve to allow yourself to transition into this other form of life. But let's see what they're saying now in the book. So, healing from the past. This card comes to you because there's a recurring pattern that stems from hurt feelings in your past. It's time for you to change this pattern by facing and healing old emotional pain. You may feel tired of revisiting the same issues, yet believe that there's no other way. I wonder, too, if some of you have gone through this type of thing more than once, or if it's like like it's in the book, like a cycle, like a cyclic pattern. Additional meanings: facing your feelings, forgiveness, healing work, yes. Leadership and activism, releasing emotional and physical weight, and donating old items. Now let's go to transits in here, number 55, towards the back. Okay, I'm not going to read everything in here. Action. This situation is in flux and the surrounding connections are changing. Stay alert, aware, and be ready to respond to incoming dangers and opportunities. Some people are moving in, others are leaving. New opportunities open and old chapters close. Listen to the grapevine for changes in personnel or economic conditions. You are not in control of these elements, but you can make the most of these changes and dance with fate. People that walk into your life now may be karmically important. Either the relationship will last a long time, or it may be pithy, and teach you a valuable lesson. It can be helpful at this point to look at the transits in your natal chart. There is no volume control on this card's energy. Transits may trigger a small change in the personnel around you, or it could signal a shooting star that blazes across your life and turns your direction entirely. You have choices, though. Ask for grace and guidance when responding to the changing circumstances. Challenge. Wild cards are in play. You are not in control of who or what now brushes your life, and that can be scary. Gift. Even though life is an ever-moving circus and you do not control the people and events transiting your life, know that you are in complete control of your response to the transit. Choose wisely. Okay, eternal crystals. Okay, Fuchsite, healing heart chakra. You are a natural-born healer. You heal with your words, actions, and energy. You can make a difference in other people's lives. Now is a great time to learn about natural remedies, counseling, teaching, medicine, or healing in some form. Remember also that you can conduct healing work in more subtle ways in your everyday life. You don't need to be a doctor or nurse to be a healer. You may be a great listener and have a gentle, compassionate energy which greatly benefits your friends, coworkers, and family members. Whatever form of healing you do for others, either consciously or subconsciously, be wary of becoming too drained. Make sure you find a balance between giving to others and nurturing yourself. You can express yourself openly and honestly without hurting others. You may need to stand your ground and say no at times in order to honor your true feelings. Fuchsite is associated with your heart chakra. It is known as the healer's stone, and it has shown up to let you know that you're a healer, but also to let you know that you need to prioritize healing yourself as well. So take some time out to recharge and rest and renew your energy. Okay, the last one. Power animals. Let's go to the dragonfly. Okay, dragonfly illusion, you know who you really are. You are a master of illusion, particularly in the guises you wear for others. This is a gift that was born in the travails of your childhood, an adaptation that once served you well. These masks do serve a purpose because you can do whatever you need to be, whoever you need to be in any situation. Yet it can also be easy to fool yourself into thinking that any of these personas are the real you. The truth is that you don't need to rely on these false personas anymore. On occasion, they will come in handy, but at this point, it's time to let the you, in quotation marks, of who you are show up in all your varied expressions and manifestations. One of the more popular ruses you run on yourself is pretending you don't know the truth. In other words, you play dumb, hoping that because others like to feel superior, you can indulge them in this way. Yet inwardly, you can be smug and secretly indulge in your own illusion of superiority. Once you acknowledge the truth, then you'll know what to do. And by that acknowledgement and acceptance, you accept the truth of who you are. Additional associations: colorfulness, mirage, mystery, deception. So, yeah, I feel that some of you too, because of how maybe you've been treated by other people or the circumstances you have gone through, you aren't being truly and fully yourself, which is why you need to transition into this sense of healing yourself and finding out who you are and not being lost and not hiding yourself anymore. But that is what I have for you, 1A. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. I'm sorry if it was a bit heavy. You can comment down below if you chose this deck and if it resonated with you, as well as you can comment again in the future with any updates that you have, if you took any advice from me or Spirit. You can like this video and you can subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. You can follow me across all socials at Brittney's Holistic Healing, except I do not have a Twitter or X account. Thank you so much again and take care. Hello 2B and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So, I'm going to read through the cards first, and then we can get into the video. It says Page of Swords in reverse, 8 of Swords upright, the Emperor in reverse, the Star upright, 2 of Cups in reverse, the Lovers upright, yes, the 2 of Cups in reverse next to the Lovers upright. We have support for the Oracle cards, support, conjunction, keyword alliance, Moonstone, key phrase, moon cycles, crown chakra, and then we have frog, keyword purification, key phrase, clear out the clutter. Alright, so this definitely mainly deals with romance, but it isn't only romance. It's also just about connections and support in general. But first I have to start off with the romance part, and first I'm going to talk about if people are single, and then I'll get to if people are in a relationship, so just hang in there if none of this relates to you yet. I'll get to you. But if you are single, I think many of you, it's almost like, and I knew this was going to happen too, I feel like, with the first 3 cards versus the last 3 cards. It's interesting where I feel that many of you, I don't know if you've had any negative romantic relationships in the past or you've just never been in a relationship, but I'll say this first. If you have had a negative experience in the past, I think that has clouded your belief of relationships now, where you think you are much better off being single, or the flip side of that, whether you have been in a relationship before or not, I think some of you believe that you are just not worthy enough of being in a relationship. For some reason, a lot of you, it feels like you aren't putting in the effort at all, like you don't want to put in the effort, and that you just feel you shouldn't even try putting in any effort because you feel that you don't deserve love, or that it's not the right time right now. I just feel like a lot of you are really get down on yourself and think you don't have very admirable qualities, or qualities that other people would try to find in a partner. And it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of you are very, I'm getting a sense, very beautiful people. So that's why I almost want to lean toward maybe just the negative experiences in the past have made you believe you're better off being single, like you don't even need to put effort into that area of your life. But again, I'm getting the other side of it too, where, and maybe both exist at the same time, both of those sentiments, where you just feel like you are not worthy of being in a loving relationship. I wonder if some of you, I think have too high of expectations as well, so you think people won't be able to ever meet those expectations. But I keep being drawn back to that 8 of Swords being an upright. So I just feel like a lot of people have probably conditioned you to believe certain things about yourself that are not true, or to believe that certain things about yourself are bad. And this doesn't even just have to be about people from a previous relationship. This can be literally like family members. If they, like growing up, I'll just say, generally speaking, there are certain people, part of my family, or a certain person, I should say, who very negatively talk down upon women, like very openly. Like, women have to look a certain way or else they look pregnant, like stuff like that. And if women don't shave, then that's really gross, and like they're disgusting, like stuff, very misogynistic ideology, yeah. And so, for example, that has affected me in the way I look at relationships and how I view my body in relation to relationships, thinking that I need to look a certain way to be of value in a relationship, which, by the way, is so absolutely, that is a disgusting sentiment to have. Speak about disgusting, that is no. So I think a lot of you, I wonder, some of you maybe could have body issues as well, but there's some, at least, I think it's more than just one thing, where a lot of you feel unworthy. And again, I want to go back to the conditioning things, because I think a lot of you have been conditioned to believe, even if it's just by what you see on social media, you could have been conditioned to believe certain things about yourself, or maybe you're scared because you've heard stories from your friends or family about being in a relationship. I wonder if some of you too actually haven't been properly taught about romantic relationships or even like the physical aspect of things. But even just in general, how to like go on dates, how to be in a relationship. I wonder if some of you weren't allowed to date or, had strict parents growing up, or the people you tend to go for, you self-sabotage. I get a lot of that too, where it's like the people you have gone for in the past, you self-sabotage because you know that they're not good for you. But I want to get to what these bottom 3 cards are saying now, because it actually looks really beautiful to me, where you have this opportunity for this year to actually, I think at the bare minimum, start going on dates if you haven't been going on dates in a while, or at least going on good dates. Maybe you've had really crappy dates. You're like, I just don't even care about going on dates anymore. But for many of you, really, I see actually starting to be in a relationship, or at least dating somebody this year or in 2025, where it blooms into a relationship. And I see that can heal some wounds in you about the expectations, not only that you've placed on others, but that you've placed on yourself. And a lot of what people can place on other people is projections from themselves as well. So any projections that you've had or any insecurities that you've had, I see being more healed in this relationship that you could have for 2025. And I see you having a lot with the star too. I hear like hope and faith in humanity. And for those of you who are women, it's like I hear hope and faith in men. Not all men are bad. And that's true. Not all men are technically bad, no, but they're not, But I see you gaining some momentum in the right direction, if that makes sense, where you're able to heal some parts of yourself through this relationship. And I see that being a very beautiful thing. But you have to allow yourself to get to that point. Don't let your insecurities win. And also with the Emperor in reverse and the Page of Swords being in reverse, a lot of that can indicate inaction. So if you don't take up opportunities, and literally the star is like the ultimate opportunity. If you don't take up this opportunity, it will easily pass you. And so you don't want for that to happen, because for some of you too, I think this relationship that could be coming in feels very karmic. And it doesn't mean it will last forever, like I don't know that, but it does feel like it will help you to grow, and it will help teach you more lessons about what you do want and what you do deserve. And I see it being very like constructive and conducive are the words I'm hearing. So it being conducive because it helps you, it's conducive to your experience, and it helps you again understand not just more about what you want in a relationship, but more about yourself, and also more about you as an individual, the qualities you like about yourself. I see you appreciating yourself as a person a lot more, and understanding whether the other person says it through their words or their actions, how good of a person you are and the good qualities you bring to the table, and that you shouldn't dim your light and think that you aren't deserving of love, because you most certainly and definitely are. You just have to allow yourself to shine more in that and have more confidence in yourself, and that does not mean overcompensate. Sometimes people can go and flip into the other direction, where it's like major insecurity can be on both ends, where sometimes people who come off as overconfident are the most insecure. So make sure that doesn't happen. But I see there being this switch of, if you allow yourself to. Actually, you know what? I think for a lot of you, it would resonate better if I said it with this statement. Go into the relationship focusing on you more than the other person. And maybe that sounds bad, but that's just the way it's coming across for me, where do this relationship for you, not for the other person. So I wonder too, like, if some of you have just dated people because you felt bad because they like you. I don't know, but do this for yourself because you want it to happen, not because the other person does. Because you both do, but focus on the part of you wanting this to happen, and of you wanting to go through this experience. Now, for those of you who are already in a relationship, it's interesting because I actually get a different vibe. When I was thinking of the context of if you're already in a relationship, I think a lot of you the relationship could end this year, and I think for a lot of you, the relationship could be very toxic, and a lot of you feel very stuck and that you cannot leave. I think a lot of you could need, especially I want to call upon that support card here for those of you who are in a relationship already. I think you could need some external support to get out of your situation or out of this relationship. For those of you who are in a relationship, I think many of you just need to get out. And Spirit is saying you'll be able to find love again, if that is the case. Even if you've been with this person for so long, you are able to find that loving kind of relationship that you need and that you desire, if you are not getting that within your current relationship. But it feels like, I just keep wanting to look at that Eight of Swords, where it's just shining bright for me right now. Or a lot of you could just feel like you can't. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but the Eight of Swords is like, and traditionally about people being victims. So for a lot of you who are in relationships, it would just be better for you to not be in that kind of situation anymore, and to hopefully have better safety, and to know that people are out there for you. You don't need to just settle down, and you also don't need to, and I want to bring up those insecurities again, you don't need to think that you're a worthless person and that's why you should stay with these people who are like energy vampires, very negative, toxic people, because you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be in a relationship with people who are like that. And some of you maybe just feel stuck, though. Like, maybe you've been with this person a while and you just are afraid to leave. Maybe not because they're a bad person, but because you just think you won't be able to find anybody else. Maybe some of you live in like a moderately sized or small town and you're like, there's nobody else around here who aligns with my beliefs or who I'm attracted to, and I like know everybody. A lot of people are family friends. Like, don't be making those kinds of excuses, because those are not conducive to your experience for if you actually want true love. And I think a lot of you do crave that love, whether you admit it or not, with another counterpart or with another person. I wonder if, you know what? I wonder if some of you have experienced cheating, like the other person, or if the other person wants to open up the relationship. So if somebody wants to open up the relationship, say your partner does, but you don't want to, don't settle. If you want to, but they don't want to, and you realize you actually want to be like polyamorous or just non-monogamous, then you should be open about that. And if they say that they aren't into that, then you just gotta not be in the relationship anymore. You gotta do what's best for you and your experience. Again, focusing and highlighting you. And so don't be afraid to speak up, even if you're a little bit embarrassed, by different things, or if things are new for you. So you're like, I don't really know how this will play out. But there's a sense of needing to step into your power is what I'm hearing. So again, if you are in a relationship, taking into account everything that I said, and then whichever part most relates to you, then please consider that. If you are in a relationship and you really, really, truly love this person, like, and nothing for 2025 goes wrong, I don't know. I don't know how else to spin this in a different light, to make it appropriate for that kind of response, because I'm just seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm hearing and sensing what I'm hearing and sensing, and I'm not getting a sense that for many of you it would be ideal to stay within this relationship, if that is the case. I just can't get anything else about it from that. Now I want to move on to outside of romance. If you are just needing support right now, I wonder, I said this in group 1 too, but I wonder if some of you are afraid to ask for help, or if some of you, and I mentioned this in group 1 too, some of you maybe are just feeling very lonely lately, and there's a sense that there's still likely to be a relationship that could come in this year for you, but if not, I get a sense that there will be at least 1 or 2 core people that will come in for you this year that you can accept into your life. And I think some of you don't have a very good support system. So especially with this Two of Cups being in reverse, it shows that there's a lack of harmony between you and the people that you talk most to or that you're closest to. And so you need to really evaluate your friendships and your familial relationships, because some of them are not healthy for you. So it would be a good time now to have better boundaries, not be in too much of communication with these people, or to be around them very much, and maybe not be around them at all, and instead allow other people to come in who would be more helpful, or to rely on other people that you already know, but just talking to them more. Maybe being more vulnerable to people. Some of you, I think, are stuck in lacking your vulnerable side, like with other people. Maybe you're vulnerable when you're by yourself, but when it comes to other people, you're very hard on yourself with allowing yourself to be vulnerable in front of other people. So Spirit wants you to know it's okay to be vulnerable. You just have to find the right people. And for some of you, maybe you already know some people that you can be vulnerable with. And for some of you, you will need to allow other and new people into your life, and they can help you to feel less alone, or they can help you just to have somebody to talk to. I'm sensing that you'll feel more, I actually get a sense that you'll have a lot more fun and laughs. Like, I'm feeling a lot more happy energy with these new people that are coming into your life for this year, that these people that you will shine brighter in your life for this year. If you don't talk to these other certain people as much, or you cut certain people out, and again, that can be family, friends, like coworkers, I guess, too, in whatever context that best applies to you. But there's a sense of needing to focus more on other people who are... It's interesting. I think I think a lot of you should step outside of your comfort zone for this year and partake in different kinds of hobbies that you never would. Whether you've been interested in them or not, just to say you did it. Like, let's say you absolutely hate cooking, but you do a cooking class. What if you meet somebody through that? Or then you start going to that, There's something kind of, I feel like, more niche, at least compared to what you normally do, that I feel like you should try doing. And you could find new people through that way. Some of you, though, maybe will just feel more comfortable sticking to what you know, but then just talking more. Like, let's say you go to a certain gym and there's a gym class that you go to, but you just don't talk to anybody. You could just start talking to those people as well. For some of you, it's people who are already in your environment. And again, for some of you, it's more so people way outside of your comfort zone and outside of your normal group of friends. Because sometimes you might be the person who needs the differences to be within the friend group. So just do what you feel best applies to you. Maybe you should do a little bit of both. I'm getting a sense that it's kind of like 50-50 almost, where some of you... Well, actually, let me think. 1 second. I actually want to say like 60% of you already know a lot of these people who you can rely on better for support, and 40% of you kind of don't. And also, before I get into the guidebook, it says over here, frog, purification, clear out the clutter. When that pertains to, like, your social circle, that means, like, clearing out the people who are no longer necessary or important pieces of your life. And instead, clearing out that clutter will allow space for other people to come in, or other people to take up more space within your circle. I hope that makes sense for you. Let's see, is there anything else I have to say about this? I really feel like this stack is all about the social connections and the people in our social circle and our inner circle. So a big key theme for you is to step outside of your comfort zone, believe in yourself more, do things for yourself, step into your own power, and clear out the people who are no longer important for your life to be there. And that doesn't mean, like, people can be acquaintances and still be an important piece of your life. So I'm not talking about the people who you don't talk too much, but you still enjoy. Like, the people who are not good for you to have around, there's like a negativity and toxicity. And I think a lot of you too maybe have picked up a little bit of a mean streak in you and you haven't realized. And getting rid of certain people, if you absorb people's energies especially, getting rid of certain people in your life will help you understand, oh, I didn't realize I was being this Debbie Downer. But I will move on now to the oracle cards. So let's start with support in the butterfly oracle card deck. It says support. You received this card because you've been accustomed to doing everything yourself, and now it's time to request and receive help. This is a valuable life lesson that will allow you to grow in every area, so think of it as an investment. This card indicates that it's time for you time for self-honesty in which you admit to yourself that there is one or more areas where you'd benefit from getting assistance. This is not the same as telling yourself that you've done something wrong, though. It's just that many parts of life require a team approach with people pooling their strengths to help each other. Additional meaning: money coming to you, joining a support group, child support or alimony, consultation with a healthcare professional, asking for the support you need, or allowing yourself to be supported. Yes, allow yourself to be supported. Okay, let's go to conjunction alliance now. 51 in here. I will not be reading everything in here, but it says action. Call conspire. Find people and allies who support your ideas, as this is not a situation in which to go it alone. Bring in someone with an extra skill to offer to your project. Find the best friend to discuss your concerns with, or spark off new partnership. Watch the energy build as you bounce ideas off another person. Just take care of your own energy fields and ideas in this process. If you have merged your energy with a partner, teacher, or coworker, or are considering merging, notice what strengthens you and where you may need to step back and individuate. Find your own paradigm and technique. It can be lovely to love someone with a sun-like personality, warm, expansive, though at times exhausting, but don't combust. If it's time to align your life with another's, think of the line from the poet Rilke. Love consists of this, that two solitudes protect and border and greet each other. Let this be a yoking of two or more equals, a partnership that works best when each brings gifts and challenges to the table. Challenge: be wary of relationships that ask you to shrink yourself to fit them and value the conjunction over individual growth. Gift: a conjunction can become greater than the sum of the parts. Now let's go to Moonstone in here. Moonstone, crown chakra, and moon cycles. It is time for you to pay attention to the moon and its cycles and what effect they have on you and your moods. Many of us are very connected to the moon and its energy. How do you feel during the moon, the full moon? How do you feel energized, or do you feel very emotional and tired? We all react differently to the moon. When Moonstone appears in your reading, it's a reminder that it may be time for you to go within and tune into what your normal biological rhythms and cycles are, particularly if you're a woman. Focus your attention inwards today. Try to listen to what your physical body and your intuition is telling you. What is it that you need to do to balance yourself out? Perhaps you need to focus more on how you relax and sleep. If you are in need of rejuvenation and a deep, restful sleep, feel the soft, nurturing energy of Moonstone wash over you as you rest well tonight. Moonstone is associated with the crown chakra. It is an excellent stone to use in meditation and to connect with your intuition. I will say some of you maybe have struggled with insomnia or with feeling too tired. Connecting to the moon is a good idea, but I think some of you just need to... It's interesting. I read an article recently about how loneliness can cause sleep issues. So talking with more people and being more social could actually help you with your sleep. Also with Moonstone, I think it's a very not only intuitive but a nurturing stone. So it's a time now to nurture your needs, is what I was hearing when I pulled this card earlier as well. And then we have Frog, purification, clear out the clutter. Let's go to that in here. I almost turned right to it. Okay, it's time to clear out and clean up. Look for any messy areas in your life and tackle them one at a time. Don't try to do it all at once or you'll be overwhelmed. Start with one corner of the room, one area of your desk, your kitchen, or your closet, and dedicate a couple of hours to sorting and sifting. Recycle and give away as much as you can. Believe it or not, this process can be one of the most spiritual experiences you'll ever have. Another area to clear out is your body. Drink lots of water for the next few days, and if possible, do a detoxification diet. At the least, eat a vegetarian diet and eliminate alcohol and fatty foods. That's just what it says in here, so see how you feel when you do it. Another cleanup job is mental. Abstain from television and newspapers for a while, and as much as possible, avoid negativity in yourself and others who tend to be negative. Clear out and clean up your spiritual practice as well. Do whatever works that helps you feel closer to God, whether it's prayer, meditation, or a walk in the forest. It's simple, or universe, spirit. Additional associations: singing, rhythm, rainmaker, sensitivity. I was going to say something during that. This is why sometimes I should just say something while I'm reading through, because there was something I was going to say. Okay, let me open this up again. I forgot I lost it. I was going to say, for those of you who, if you have been in a relationship before and you're still clinging on to the other person's stuff, that could be preventing you from receiving a new relationship because you're holding on to these objects from a prior relationship, so that energy is still connected to you. So do cord cutting exercises and get rid of the stuff from your ex that you still have, because that energy is affecting you from receiving romantic love or finding romantic love or relationship in at this point in time. That could be helpful to clear out that energy. Get rid of it, donate it, throw it away. But that is what I have for you, 2B. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, you can like it, and you can comment down below if you chose this stack. You can comment down below if it resonates with you, as well as you can comment in the future if you took my advice or spirit's advice. You can subscribe to my channel, and that really helps me out a lot. Also, across all socials, it is at Brittney's Holistic Healing, except I do not have a Twitter or X account. Thank you so much, 2B, and take care. Hello, 3C, and welcome to your part of the Pick a Card reading video. So I have some different messages that came through with this reading. But first I want to read through what the cards say. So we have the High Priestess upright, the Magician in reverse, the Hanged Man in reverse, Ace of Wands upright, Judgment in reverse, the Hierophant upright. And then for the Oracle cards, we have Join In, Venus with keyword beloved, Seraphonite with the key phrase honesty, heart, and third eye chakras. And then we have Porcupine, keyword innocence, key phrase free yourself of guilt and shame. So, this is interesting. As soon as I started pulling cards, especially with the High Priestess and then the Magician in reverse, I'm like, oh. And then the Hanged Man in reverse, I'm like, oh. So if this first part that I'm going to say doesn't resonate with you, then hopefully the later messages will. But right off the bat, I picked up on how some of you have been trying to manifest something or make something happen in your life, however you want to put it, but I'm just going to say manifest. Some of you have been trying to manifest a certain outcome or situation into your life, maybe a specific person. And in 2025, you will realize that this is not what you should manifest anymore, whether it's because you don't want to manifest it or because you feel it is no longer something that is possible for you, or maybe you've just, I think for a lot of you, it's like you realize it maybe is illogical. It's like when people try to manifest their favorite singer or bandmate, or band person into their life, because stuff like that, too, is very karmically not good, too, because people have free will, and so you can't, purposely try to put somebody like that into your life, but that's a whole different topic. But there's just something that I feel many of you have tried manifesting that hasn't come true, or won't come true for you in 2025, and it will make you upset, and it will make you realize that you will have to move on from that manifestation. And I feel like for some of you, you've been holding on to this manifestation for so long, and now you're realizing it's no longer something that you want to try to go for. And here's the thing, sometimes we try to manifest things in our life, even if it doesn't work out, they can still teach us things along the way, so don't have too much guilt and shame about things. I honestly, that example I just gave, I used to be one of those kinds of people where it's like, oh, this specific person, this famous person, I'm gonna try and manifest them into my life. And then I'm like, ooh, that makes me feel weird because they have free will. And what if they actually don't deep down want that? But there's a sense of some of you also, the manifestation is based on, sometimes manifestations can be based on, what's the word? Obsessiveness and, not insecurity, but, what's the word? I just had it. Manifestations can be based on, I guess you could say urgency. There we go. Urgency and also anxiety. Urgent anxiety. And there's a sense of you no longer wanting to, you realizing that you shouldn't be so urgent with your manifestations, because manifestations, a lot of, for some people, really, some people, especially if they have charts that indicate this, some people have such lucky charts, but for a lot of us, we have to allow the manifestations to unfold over time. So a lot of times manifestations don't happen right away. So Some of you maybe will have the same manifestation, but you just won't be so stringent, is that the word? You won't be so obsessive about it. Like maybe, okay, I have to say, I've said this before in these videos, but I hate when people say just certain things about manifesting. And there's so many different things people say about manifesting. Some people say you should focus on your manifestations every day. Some people say you should think about your manifestation once and then release it, or do a spell once and then just like release it and don't. Well, spells are different than manifesting, I guess, but like you manifest once and then you just release it. And you don't do anything about it. And then some people say it should happen right away. Some people you should say it takes time. Some people say it should be something that you've wanted for a long time, and some people say it doesn't matter, like even if it just pops up into your head that day. Some people say that when you're manifesting certain things into your life, what was the other one I was going to say? There's just so many things. It's like, it was an important one I was going to say though. Some people say to be specific, and some people say to be generic. So it's like, so many people say different things. And here's the thing, maybe all of these things can exist and be true, but it just depends on the person, right? For some people, maybe it's just meant for things to manifest very quickly for them. For some people, maybe it's things happen more so when they do it once, like the manifestation, they just visualize it, say it once, and then they release it. They write it down once, they release it. Some people, it's better for them to maybe have a vision board or like a whiteboard, and they look at these key points every night, and they read over it a few times and then go to bed. Like, I think for every single person it's different. So that's also something I want to say, is that I think some of you with your manifestations have been told how to do things a certain way, how you're supposed to manifest, how to do this in 30 days and whatever. I think a lot of you, especially with the magician being in reverse, have obtained resources from people who aren't trustworthy or who actually don't know what they're like really talking about. And if they say they do, they obviously don't. Like some people, it's like, oh yeah, look at this happened for me. This amazing thing happened for me and I built this life for myself, so that means you have to do it this way. Be careful about people who are like that when it comes to this space, because a lot of times it is not as simple as that. You can't just follow this plan that worked for this person, because you are not that person. So I think now too, you are realizing how to do things differently and more properly in a way that best aligns with you, and not taking as much into consideration what other people are saying for you. So especially with the magician here in reverse and the hangman being in reverse, I mean even the high priestess upright, it's like trusting your own intuition of what to do while not being too, but still taking into consideration this hangman, where it's like you're not being too stringent on the outcome or wanting things to happen so specifically and in a certain way. And sometimes things will happen, but not in exactly the way we want it to, but that's the way Spirit has intended us to. So just allowing yourself to be more open to different possibilities, but also trusting your intuition for what you should do and not what other people are saying you have to do in order for things to work, in order for your manifestations to happen and to unfold. And with the Hierophant upright, it's indicating like having your own set of rules of what you want to do, having laid out, how do I want to say this? Oh, you know what I want to say actually? Because we have the Ace of Wands here too. Some of you, I think, when we think of manifestations, some people say like set it and forget it and don't put even any effort into it. That's what makes me mad. When people say don't put any effort into it, it will just happen. A lot of times what manifesting means is having an intention for something to happen or to do something, to accomplish something. And in order for that to happen, we also, alongside that, work hard. So it's not only Spirit working hard on our behalf, but it's us working hard and putting intention into our intention. If that's a proper way to say it. And showing and indicating to ourselves and to Spirit, like, hey, this is something that I still care about. This is still something that I want. And I'm showing that and proving that by putting in and applying effort instead of just doing nothing. Because showing that you actually care about what you want to have happen, putting in the effort will also indicate to spirit, okay, they're taking this seriously, like they actually want for this to happen, and it will happen. And with the judgment being reversed, that's just indicating to me, like, not taking into consideration too much about what other people are saying. And also, don't be too hard on yourself, because especially if you're newer to this space or this realm, or just to manifesting, there's so many different things that people say out there. And again, I think a lot of things can be true, but it's just finding what works best for you and then formulating your plan around that. But also, again, don't be illogical in what you want to manifest. Have this be something that is attainable, and have this be something that's actually what you feel is for your highest good. And so manifest, but I mean, really meditate there and sit there and think about why you want this manifestation to happen, and why you want it to even happen in the way it happens, and how you want it to unfold, and all the pieces of it that you actually want to have happen, and the pieces that you maybe don't care as much about, and you're like, it can unfold in whatever way as long as it works alongside my manifestation. Think about all those things, and think about why you actually want to manifest this thing, and why it would be best for you to do that, and how it would be helpful to your soul's evolution, and why. And a lot of times, if you're manifesting like a certain type of career into your life, there should be a career that, like, when you think about it, it makes you happy. It doesn't make you feel stressed. It doesn't make you feel like, oh yeah, this will just make me a lot of money, or it'll bring me closer to this thing or this person. It should feel really happy. Like what I do when I'm doing these pick a card readings, and also with my ASMR channel, with those, I ultimately feel so excited and giddy to do those, and I have so many ideas. I am always so happy to do these, so it should be something that makes you happy, not stressed out and anxious. And also, like, something like that, it should be something that you would want to do anyway, that you would want to strive for anyway, even if you weren't manifesting for it. And even with considering, like, we all a lot of times want more money and stuff, right? But even considering stuff like money not being part of the equation, that's something people say too, is if money weren't an issue, what would you want to do with your life? And that isn't just career. That's also about who you would want in your circle of friends and family, and who you would want as your romantic partner. Like, money aside, that is such a big factor for so many people, but money aside, what would actually make you happy and why? Think about the whys of why these things would make you happy, and then if you truly want to manifest these certain things, then have them unfold in a way where it's logical, and do what's best for you and how you want to formulate your plan. But I feel like for what y'all have been doing, you probably need to change your manifestation, or you need to change the way you are manifesting. And I think some of you aren't doing enough. I want to say, like, you're just like, well, whatever, it's gonna happen because I did, and you're not putting in any effort. And some of you are putting in too much thought into it. And since this is your spread too, Spirit, for those of you who need to change your manifestations, which I think is actually quite a bit of you, Spirit is saying that this isn't something that maybe at one point in time it served you to have this goal in mind, but now it isn't something that you should try to achieve, or it's never something we wanted for an end goal for you, and we want for you to consider your other options, which is very unfortunate, I know, for some of you, but I just have to be honest. Okay. So that's the first part of this, about the manifesting. Now I have the manifesting on my mind. I have to think about what else I was thinking. Oh, some of you, this doesn't have anything as much to do with manifesting, but some of you, I just think, don't trust yourself very much, is the best way I can describe it. I think some of you have too much input from other people, and I know I mentioned that earlier with the manifestations, but even outside of that, just, I think a lot of you consider what other people say, and you maybe absorb what other people have told you, but you don't consider as much what you actually feel. So it's like going against your intuition. So for 2025, what you have to do is trust your intuition more, and allow yourself to have better boundaries, to not allow what other people say affect you, whether you believe in what they say or not. Because I feel that a lot of times maybe you just don't believe in yourself, or you're not confident enough in what you're saying, thinking, or feeling. So when other people say this, and this, you're like, okay, even if you're saying, no, I'm not going to believe in that, and that, I'm actually, and then you actually end up internalizing it anyway. I think there's a lot of beliefs that you hold on to that you don't actually believe in. So it's a good time to work through what you actually do believe in at this point in time. And it's interesting how the first card I pulled is the High Priestess and the last one is the Hierophant, because they're all kind of different. The High Priestess is, a priestess, like almost like a goddess almost, but like she's like a medium, like a psychic. The Hierophant is very logical and likes to do things traditionally and by the book. So I wonder if some of you will find your sense of community this year. Whether that's a religious community or a spiritual community, I find that to be very likely where you find some sort of community, especially in that spiritual or religious realm. And again, just make sure you don't input too much of what other people are saying. Some of you run the risk of joining some not very great organizations who are kind of culty, so be careful of that, okay? You don't want to join those kinds of places. And we even have over here join in, but join in with people who align with you, and even if there's some things that you don't agree with, you don't always, like, that doesn't mean be closed-minded, but don't input everything into your body, mind, soul, just because other people are saying specific things. Think about first how you feel about what's being said to you, what is being relayed to you, and what you feel in your heart and in your body, and just what you feel to be true. Especially when it involves the spiritual stuff, it's like, it's interesting because some people some people are psychic mediums and they're very on one side of the spectrum. You could say politically, or you could just say anything else, and then other people on the very opposite side. So it's very interesting because these people are intuitive, right? And so it makes me really, when I think about those kinds of situations, it's like everybody really does have their own perspective, and it's almost like everybody's in their own realm in a way. It makes me think about the simulation theory, although I definitely do not believe in the simulation theory. I think that makes life less meaningful when you think about it like that. I definitely do not believe in that. And just with my own personal experiences, I don't believe that to be true. But it makes me think about that when I think of these kinds of situations, because it's like people really are living their own experiences, and like this is their truth for them. So don't live your truth if it's not actually your truth, and if it's somebody else's truth. I'm getting a sense of living your own truth and believing in yourself more than any other people in your life. And sometimes people in your life, and in 2025, specifically since we're talking about that, people will, with the Judgment card here, people will judge you for having certain beliefs or for thinking certain things. But what you have to do is trust in what you believe, as long as it's coming from a place of love and a place of connectedness to you and within you. Then you don't have to over-explain yourself to other people, and if people are going to judge you, you don't need to have those kinds of people around. So I see aligning yourself with like-minded people this year, and especially joining a community or being better involved in some way in a community. And for some of you, maybe you are involved a lot. Maybe that means just being in a more leadership position or joining in a different type of community as well. I just see some sense of a lot of you joining into a community, assimilating, getting ideas, but and uncovering new interests. And with the Ace of Wands too, I think of putting yourself out there. And there's a sense of putting yourself out there without feeling ashamed or feeling wait, I just looked over at Porcupine, innocence for yourself of guilt and shame. Yes. So I think there's a sense of, in order to release some of that shame, is also finding people who are good people. Find good people who are trustworthy, who aren't just going to manipulate you, I have to say, and who are like-minded with you. With Group 2B, I was telling them some of them need to find people outside of their community, their typical people that they would be friends with. But for a lot of you, I think what you need to do is find people who you can connect with on a level where you have a lot in common. I think that is just what is beneficial for you, at least at this point in time in 2025. Maybe you like to meet different kinds of people, new friends, but finding people of similar interests would be very helpful for you right now. Maybe you already have friends within like your own community of people, but then talking more with them and opening up more with them and sharing more common interests and like doing more. I see a lot of like, especially with Venus here, partaking in more fun types of activities, like going on trips, doing things that are really fun and creative with these other people who are of like mind with you. I see that being very helpful and beneficial for you and for them. And I could see you growing a lot more and also expanding your intuition. I think being in some sort of community in general, especially spiritual, but being in some sort of community could help you open up your mind you can become more open-minded, and it will also encourage you to not only gain more interests or learn more about the things you are interested in, and I see a lot of you becoming more knowledgeable, but also I see a lot of you growing your intuition a lot this year, in combination with the kinds of people you meet who can maybe help you tap into your intuition. Or else you'll go through experiences that just really open up your eyes and open up your third eye as well, and you'll be a lot more intuitive and will be able to... Ooh, I wonder too if there will be like weird situations that will pop up for you, like people will invite you to this weird event and then you like trust your intuition. I think you'll just trust your intuition a lot more, and that will prevent you from being in weird situations this year as well. I see you trusting your intuition and sticking to your guns and sticking to what you believe in, and again, not focusing too much on how other people feel. If they feel a certain type of way from what you feel or what you believe, again, just come from a place of love. That is really important, and that is what matters. But let's read now in the guidebook. Let's start with join in. It says, join in. You are being called to push past shyness and meet new people. Although you might not think of yourself as sociable, it's time to take action and get acquainted with like-minded friends and associates. That's literally what I just said. Your social fears stem from spending time with insensitive people, and you'll benefit from connecting with gentle and kind individuals like yourself. You receive this card because in order to meet these new friends, you'll need to join in. That means literally joining an in-person, not online or virtual class or group so that you can network with others. Joining in also entails introducing yourself at these groups and having conversations. This positive change in your social life will open new doors for you in other areas. Yes. I really feel that. Okay, additional meanings. Do charity work, join a spiritual or religious group aligned with your beliefs, commit to a relationship. That's like perfect for what I was saying. Okay, let's go to Venus, beloved or beloved, however you prefer to say it. Okay. Venus symbolizes your heart, romance, and the creative process. I won't read through this part. Let's skip to here. Action. Soften, charm, open the heart. Investigate how you can make the situation more beautiful, more fair, and lovely. Remember this Venusian truth. People are fascinated by those who find them fascinating. Use diplomacy and seduction and let others come to you. Engage creativity, generosity, and affection. Venus calls you to your heart, to romance, sings to you as a creative muse, asks you what you value, what you want enough to get yourself in trouble. Come to know your heart. Know what you're passionate about and when you stir other people's passions. When your heart hurts, you can express the higher notes of Venus through acts of compassion, affection, or creativity. All become medicine for your sore heart. Pull out the art supplies and paint how you feel. Rescue a puppy. Help a person who needs loving kindness even more than you do. Challenge. Emotions run strong and passions are intense. Be wary of crimes of passion, love addiction, or looking for love in material things. If you're fascinated by the superficial aspects of Venus, you can get caught up in appearances or become blind in love. Look deeper. Gift. Venus encourages a loving heart. To heal your own heart and become a Venusian, beckon to the world around you. Develop what the Buddhists refer to as Maitri. Loving kindness, benevolence, friendliness, and active interest in others' well-being. Okay, Seraphonite, 38. Honesty, heart and third eye chakras. It's time for you to be honest with yourself. Take time to identify the changes that you need to make in your life so that you can feel fulfilled and happy. Focus on healing yourself today by being completely honest with yourself. What do you need to do to feel completely happy and healthy? Once you have been honest with yourself and you have identified what it is that you do and don't want in your life, you can then make changes. During this process of change, listen to your heart. Stay true to yourself. Be wary of accepting other people's agendas or other people's advice at this time. Literally what I've been saying. Be sure to surround yourself with people who you can trust, because some people come from a place of ego or self-service. Yes. Too many people's viewpoints can cloud your judgment. Yes. Be true to you. Yes. Yes. You can also ask your angels and spirit guides for help. They will send you the answers. Pay attention to any signs or messages they send to you. Trust in what you see, sense, hear, and feel. And that's what the High Priestess is also saying. You can also... Seraphonite is a beautiful healing crystal which aids in angelic communication. It is also associated with your heart and third eye chakras. Okay. And the last one is power animals, porcupine innocence. I almost flipped right to it. I was one away. Okay, porcupine innocence, free yourself of guilt and shame. See the world through the eyes of a child, trusting your inner mother and father to be there whenever you need them. Protection is available when you need it, so you can feel safe in expressing yourself in all the different ways you've wanted you've always wanted to. There's boldness and innocence, and no more need to hide behind any childhood guilt about perceived misdeeds or to be consumed with shame about revealing your true self. You're a gentle soul and have never intentionally harmed anyone. Well, I mean, maybe you have, but I'm just reading what it says in the guidebook. All of us have intentionally harmed somebody, even if we're a lot younger when we did so. Anyway, release any guilt over your behavior or shame about yourself in this situation. There's no need to feel resentful, victimized, or arrogant toward anyone else either. Be the child of God that you are, or the universe, spirit. In your heart, live in the garden. Others may cause you to prickle, but truly most of what they do or say to you is harmless and not a threat. So be joyful and grateful, and let everything you do be done with complete abandon. Dance, laugh, sing, and be free again, just like you were on the day you were born. Additional associations: humility, protection, sensitivity, and trust. Yes, trusting this new community of people that you, or this existing group of people that you just talk to more and all that. Everything perfect. So, I hope you enjoyed 3C. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. You can follow me across all socials. It is at Brittney's Holistic Healing across everything, except I do not have a Twitter or X account. You can like this video if you liked it, and you can also subscribe to my channel, Brittney's Holistic Healing. It helps me out a lot. You can hello? I've been talking a lot today. Ooh. Okay, you can comment down below if you chose this stack and if it resonated with you, and you can also comment down below in the future with any hello. You can comment from the future, sometime in the future, if you took any of the advice from me in spirit, and if you have any updates for me and anybody else in the comments section. But again, thank you so much for watching and listening through C, and take care. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. If you liked the content, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below, as it really helps my channel out a lot. You can follow me on my socials listed here on the screen. Thank you, and blessed be.